how to get someone else to buy you a truck. I'm going to walk you through it step by step right here. I got on Auto Trader this morning and I'm kind of looking at trucks and I'm got some other things up my sleeve. So I'm going to show you what we did today. So what we got is I found this used Chevy Silverado. I like these trail bosses. It's, let's see, about $40,000. And I just took what they put, $549 a month. All right, so if you need that, and it's, what is it, 7.49 for 72 months. Now, give or take, you can probably do better than that, but I'm just using this as an example. All right, and what we're going to do this is we are going to buy this duplex. You see it's under contract, and I really did put this under contract. So when let's walk through the numbers on this. For this, I've got it up behind me. I actually had my kids do this the other day. I gave them all the numbers, and here I basically I said, here's the numbers. Show me how much this is going to make every month. And so on that was a $225,000 purchase price. It's going to require a $56,250 down payment, $2,100 a month in rent. It brings in property taxes are about $1,500 a month. They're probably a little bit less. I always guess high. $1,350 for insurance, $1,066 for the mortgage, 10% property management, which comes out to $210 a month. So it's 10% of the rent. And then these are variable costs here, so I always take into account vacancy repairs, capital expenditures, and those are the numbers that I threw in on that. So I gave that to my kids and said, here, tell me if I should do this or not. Basically, what you need to do is break it down to income and expenses. So our income, we know we got coming in is $2,100 a month, and which is $25,200 per year. All we got to do now is take these numbers. We either get everything over to monthly costs or to yearly costs. So what we did here is I took all of the expenses right down here. Taxes, I broke it down into monthly costs and to yearly costs. These are my fixed costs. Taxes, insurance, mortgage, and property management is going to stay roughly the same unless income goes up or taxes. It's going to change a little bit year by year, but this is what you have to pay every month. And so the expenses is $1,500 every month or $18,000 every year. Now our income is $2,100 a month or $25,200 per year. So if you just look at the income and fixed expenses, this is probably the best case scenario that it could ever be. It works out to positive $586 or $7,000 per year. That's pretty good. Now, if you can get a tenant in there that stays for multiple years, 10, 20 years, would be awesome. I'm yet to see that. But I do throw in a little bit of vacancy expense. So out of this, I take $175 every month and I kind of put it away for vacancy. You're going to have some repairs. You're going to have some capital expenditures. So in all your variable costs, you've got another $385 of variable costs or $46.20 per year, which now brings your cash flow down to $201. Your actual cash flow is probably going to be somewhere in between those numbers. All right. So on the high side is 586, on the low side is 201. We'll end up somewhere in the middle, and that's the yearly then. So and that's how you calculate the entire cash flow is just rent minus these numbers. So fixed is 1514, and then 16162 on the yearly side. So that, and then the 586.7. That gives you 586, and if you take the 385, those are your variable costs. So that's how I kind of came up with those numbers. Now, the cash on cash return, you got to come up with a $56,250 down payment on this. Where does that come from? Well, that came from my infinite banking policy. I took a loan against my infinite banking policy. Boom, I used that as my down payment. This money is still going to be growing in my infinite banking policy because I took a loan against it. That cash value continues to grow. So I'm going to take a loan against that. I'm going to put it as a down payment, and we're going to make all this happen. So in this scenario right here, this is where we're looking at cash flow. I'm looking at 12.5 to 4.3% cash on cash return. Cash on cash return is your ultimate cash flow, which we figured out here, divided by your down payment, which is right there. And that is, if I take this money, am I better off just leaving it in the bank making 0.0 nothing percent, or or should I put it to work and make, maybe a 10% return on? If I can make a 10% return on my money, yeah, I'm all in. That, to me, that's an awesome plus. On top of this, it's probably the house is probably going to appreciate in value. You're going to have someone else is going to pay down your principal, and they're going to do all this. So this is just, the video is how to find someone to pay for a truck, right? So let's look at this. Here's the duplex that I've got under contract. I just said $225. I actually got it quite a bit cheaper, so those numbers are way better. And here is the truck that I found this morning. I like these Chevy Trail Bosses, so all I did was I looked, and here the finance is $550 a month. So if you go back to our board, we've got 550 falls in there. Yes, it's on the high side, but it's there. Okay, so if you go and this isn't easy. All right, it's very simple, but it's not that easy. So if you go in and find something like this that can cash flow, and you put this deal together, now the tenants in this duplex are going to provide me with $586, anywhere from $200 to $586 per month, which then I'm going to use to pay for this truck. Now, let's see, this is a 72-month financing, so in 6 years, I will own this truck. And after that, I no longer have to make this finance payment anymore. Now that can go into my pocket. That can go back to paying back my policy. It can do whatever I want to do. And in 5 years, I still have this bringing that cash flow in. What's going to happen in 5 years? The rent's probably going to go up. Okay, the value of that is probably going to go up. I'm going to have more equity. I can maybe do a cash out refinance at that point and pull another $50,000 out to go put on another property and buy another truck or do whatever I want. Okay, you have options when you start thinking in a different way. Before I was kind of looking at a truck. It's like, all right, well, I'm looking at a truck, and let's see, boy, I don't have $550 a month extra in my daily life that I can throw at it. So what can I do? Well, I have money available in my infinite banking concept that I can go and I can put a down payment on something like this that will then spit out cash flow enough to buy a nice truck. All right, so just like that, the tenants in this duplex are going to buy me a truck. All right, let me know if you got any questions, how to put all this stuff together. I love learning and doing this kind of stuff. So, all right, I'm not your average finance guy, and good luck, everybody.